Well, hello, Timberline. I hope you're having a rich Christmas season this year, and especially as I just think about reading through the Gospel of Luke. And I know I've talked to many of you who are reading through this book together as families, as couples, with your kids. And so I think Luke just has so many rich things. It's hard to take chapters 20 to 25 and sort of wrestle with a few things, but I just want to mention one thing. I think after our sermon, the message last Sunday on the Lord's Supper and how Jesus is in this really crucial moment where he's reinterpreting this thing, and he's instituting the Lord's Supper. He's reinterpreting the Passover meal to refer to himself, right? That this bread is my body. This cup that we're drinking represents my blood that's been poured out in the new covenant. And so Jesus is talking about some really weighty and significant things. But often, as has been the case in many of the stories in the Gospel of Luke, the disciples are often sort of, they don't fully get it. And you can't fault them. Like, these are really significant things. And even though Jesus is describing things to them, they don't fully understand all of the ramifications, all of the eternal significance of what's going to take place. And so you see this in Luke chapter 22, because in verses 14 to 23, he's at the table and he's talking about the Last Supper, and that he's going to give his life for them. In fact, just shortly, going to be arrested and beaten and hung on a cross. And then he talks about serious things, like the fact that Judas, one of his own friends, one of the 12, is going to actually betray him and turn him over to the chief priests and teachers of the law. And right after Jesus says these things, and these pretty weighty things, I find it ironic that it says this: and a dispute arose among them as to which of them would be regarded as the greatest. Isn't that amazing? And it's easy for us to read this and to go, no way. These guys, I can't believe these guys. Right? Can you believe that after something so significant, in the midst of such incredible events, this is what's on their mind? Who's going to be the greatest, right? But I think we'd have to confess that this is us as well, right? Oftentimes, and I think all the time, there are eternal things going on all around us. There are things of really significance and value and worth that have eternal consequences. And oftentimes, we can easily be distracted and be fighting about and arguing about and fighting wars and battles that really have no importance whatsoever to the kingdom of God. And so we also can find ourselves relating to these disciples as they're wrestling with this. But I just want to say, Jesus answers them, though, and he knows they're having this dispute. And he says, look, the Gentiles, their leaders lord it over the people. They're authoritarian, in other words. And Jesus says, this is not to be the case with us. So Jesus is not even, he just simply moves on. He sees this as a teachable moment, right? This is a moment to teach. And so he's going to tell them, even though he could have said, what are you guys fighting about this for? Like, I'm going to die soon. But he doesn't. He simply uses this as a teachable moment. He says, look, this is the way it is in the world out there. The Gentiles, their leaders, they lord it over. They're authoritarian. They lord it over the people. But he says, that's not to be the case with you. He says, the one who's going to be the greatest among you is going to be the one who's the least. It's going to be the one who serves. Jesus says, I'm among you, not as one who lords it over, but I'm among you as one who serves. If we are to be like Jesus as disciples, then we are to be those who serve, who sacrificially and in many ways every day we give up our lives for the sake of others. We serve our families, we serve our co-workers, our boss, our employees, our neighbors, our church. We serve one another. You want to be great in God's kingdom? Be the one who is known for being the servant of all, for being the least. In other words, for not putting ourselves in the positions that our world would cherish and look at, but putting ourselves in the place of an actual servant who cares for other people and serves them well. I think that's a beautiful reminder to us, especially in our day, with all of the things going on around us. Let us be those who serve. God bless you this Christmas.